It was one of those things. Actually my wife was on the job too. She was doing makeup, so sadly she was in control of continuity of fried chicken bits if we had to get different angles.
In 2011, you worked on Killer Joe with legendary director William Friedkin. What was that like to work with the director of arguably the greatest horror film ever made?
Again, it's another learning experience. I have to say, Billy has his own way of doing things, and he definitely has his own style.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't think some of it would fly nowadays, but he's watching like how he worked with the actors and what he would do is really inspirational and really fun to watch. He didn't allow any chairs on set, so no one sits down. He basically wants to shoot one take and move on because he always says, "I got to get home to watch Oprah, Mo." He calls everybody Mo.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's hilarious. So, and the thing that's cool about Billy is that he rehearses with his actors, and then we kind of get a rundown of like what the actors are going to do when they come on set. So me and the first AC would have to basically map out everything. So we would make sure the focus was still good because we didn't know what we were going to do. We didn't have rehearsals. They would come in and they would do like first time we'd see the scene, they would just come in and do it and hope to God that we actually got most of it.
Wow.
We did do coverage, but once you saw it play out in a master, then you kind of knew it was going to happen when we had to go to coverage. So then we'd kind of get a layout of it.
Yeah.
But it was interesting. It was a very interesting way to work, and just hanging out with him on weekends and like going to dinners and talking, he would tell stories about the Exorcist and like talk about all that. It's kind of a great, it's just one of those things too, like in this business, you get to do those kind of things and experience like a one-on-one with people that I look up to, that I know a lot of people look up to. And it was fantastic. He's great. Billy's great.
It's wild that it sounds like the polar opposite of somebody like Stanley Kubrick's methods, but at the end of the day, the results are very similar as far as like the quality of the product.
Mm-hmm.
Like one take versus poor what's her name with the
17 takes. Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't come without its stresses, because when it's every day, it's like, okay, we got to be on, we got to make sure we're on point, because Billy's not going to really like, we may get a take two sometimes, and that was like, okay, let's make sure we knock this out of the park. It was a bit scary, but at the end, like when it's all over, you can definitely, he's very thankful and he's very cool.
You got to get the Oprah. I mean, priorities.
Come on now.
You got it. Oh, it's Mo. We got to get the scene. I got Oprah's coming on.
Never ever would have made that connection. That's awesome. Killer Joe also seemed to be the beginning of a working relationship with Caleb Deschanel, someone we recently became aware of when we did Being There. You guys would go to work together on Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, Jack Reacher, and Unforgettable. Operating the camera with such a seasoned director of photography like that, what was the most valuable thing that you learned?
I learned a lot from Caleb, just watching his dedication to how he does and how he runs his set and what he wants to do. He's very passionate about like his lighting and about how things should look and how the frames should be, So again, you got to be on your toes and make sure you're doing the right things. You don't want to upset anybody. So I learned I learned a lot about just really making sure that I'm listening, really intently on like what the director of photography wants when I'm setting up shots and doing things like that. Cause I want to give him the best I can do with the amount of time given. He's a legend. I mean, the guy shot Black Stallion, the right stuff. He's phenomenal. And just honestly watching his dedication, his planning, all that is just really impressive. And, it's one of those things where instead of going to film school, you're on a set and you're watching the people that you read about, and you're watching how they work, and you just go, wow, I can't, this is the best film school I've ever had, and I'm getting paid for it.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for it. I'm getting paid. It's fantastic.
Yeah, that's awesome. When I was watching the behind the scenes of Being There, I really appreciated how like methodical and intentional he was in what he did, like, and the simplicity. Like he seemed like a very less is more type of director of photography.
He just knows what he's doing, and his planning is good. I wouldn't say it's a less is more approach, because there's times we've lit crazy stuff, but it's not. He just knows what he needs, and he comes in and goes, well, we're going to be doing this, and the sun's going to be coming from that direction. But when the sun's gone, I can have these lights, and I can recreate the sunlight going this way. And he knows. Mm-hmm. It's ultimate planning.
Yeah, doing it for that long, you gotta develop a confidence, and Before we move on from Killer Joe, I just want to ask about the chicken wing scene.
Oh, God.
Was it as comfortable to shoot as it is to watch?
horribly uncomfortable to do that scene. I mean, because I was right in there with the camera, and it was it was one of those things. Actually, my wife was on the job too. She was doing makeup, so sadly, she was in control of continuity of fried chicken bits if we had to get different angles. And so it was kind of like, we were there together just being like, oh my God. And the whole crew, it was very uncomfortable. But, but Tina Gershon, she got in there, she killed that part. She was awesome. And, look, sometimes you shoot things, you just walk out and go, what did I just shoot?
We said, what did I just watch? And I watched it with my wife, who like only knew Matthew McConaughey from like 10 Things not 10 Things I Hate About, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. She knew that Matthew. Yeah, so that was her like introduction to the other side of Matthew McConaughey.
He's good at both. He's a great hunk.
Yeah.
Those two is a dangerous combo.
All right.
Yeah, no, that scene was uncomfortable. It definitely was,
It was great though. I mean, great filmmaking. Yeah, very effective.
Yes.